Hello, how are you? I hope you all are fine. Let's discuss the topic of hate speech in India. This is a very sensitive topic and recently it was in news, so I thought why not make a video on this. But because it's a sensitive topic, I will not be making any political statement here. I will only be dealing with the various laws which curb hate speech. As a law teacher, it's my duty to tell my students about all these current things. So the various laws which curb hate speech are IPC, Representation of People Act 1951, the Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Act, and various more laws which we will be dealing in this video later on. So what is hate speech? Basically, hate speech hasn't been defined up till now specifically in any law. Any law up till now hasn't touched the topic of hate speech specifically. Though indirectly IPC and CRPC and many other laws try to curb hate speech through its various sections and other provisions, but specifically hate speech hasn't been defined up till now. So Parliament in its wisdom will definitely later on or as soon as possible will make law which will specifically deal with hate speech, because Supreme Court in its various judgments recommended the Law Commission of India to at least define hate speech, and the Law Commission in its 267th report tried to somewhat define hate speech, and it recommended that the Parliament should at least try to add certain sections in IPC like section 153C which try to define hate speech, though not specifically hate speech word is added in that, but it tries to define it, and section 505A of IPC. These were the recommendations given by the Law Commission in its 267th report. But as you all know, now IPC has been changed. It has been converted to Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023. In Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023, the section which indirectly deals with hate speech is section 297. That is, whoever by through its words or speech maliciously and deliberately outrage the religious feelings of some community or some group, then he will be liable for maximum period of 3 years. So this is the section, new section 297 under Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Earlier it was 295A of IPC. So 295A of IPC has been converted to 297 of Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, which somewhat touches upon hate speech, though specifically it hasn't defined up till now what is hate speech. Another specific law will deal with it later on. We hope so. Parliament will pass it soon. Now, as far as hate speech is concerned, what are the present laws which deal with it? So the foremost law is IPC, and the most important section which deals with hate speech is section 153A of IPC, which says that whoever through words or through actions or through visible representations or through signs try to cause the feelings of enmity, hatred or ill will towards different groups and communities on the basis of religion, race, place of birth, residence, language, etc. So these are the bases. So if some community is having some different religion than yours, that community or group is having different race than yours, that community or group is having different place of birth or residence, and they speak different language than yours, then you somewhat try to spread ill will towards those community members by giving a speech to your own community members. So there are two communities, and you through your speech are exciting hatred or violence or trying to make your community members angry, and you are inciting them to quarrel or create violence against the other community members who are basically having different religion, race, caste or language than yours. Then you will be held liable under section 153A, and the maximum punishment will be 3 years. And if you do all these things in some religious institution, then we will be liable for 5 years. So this is the main section which somewhat touches upon hate speech. Then there are section 505 clause 1 subclause C, and section 505 clause 2 of IPC, which says that whatever you are saying is a type of hate speech, or it's a very type of you are spreading hatred against some persons or community or group, and you are actually publishing it. You are publishing it through pamphlets or through newspapers, or you are circulating it to your own community members, then you will be liable under section 505(1) and 505 clause 2. There is no circulation in section 153A, but circulation and publication is under section 505 and 505(2), 505(1) and 505 clause 2 under IPC. So then there is Representation of People Act 1951, which also tries to at least touch upon this topic of hate speech, and the most important section is section 8, which says that if anybody, specifically who is a, not anybody, if an MLA or an MP who is a sitting MLA or MP in the parliament, he somewhat spreads hate speech, then and he's punished by the court for 2 years, at least 2 years, then he can be liable for this, and at least 2 years he is punished and he is convicted by the court, then obviously he will be dismissed from the office, he will be suspended from the office. Then section 125 is also very important as far as the Representation of People Act 1951 is concerned. It says that whoever, as far as elections are concerned, during the election time, in connection with an election, now recently Lok Sabha election has been held, you know, so whoever through his words or speech or visible representations or through actions spreads hatred or violence or spread a type of quarrels, so through your words you are a candidate in an election, and through your words or speech you are spreading hatred between different classes of communities or groups, and the basis of that hatred is the same as given in section 153A of IPC. What is the basis? Religion, race, caste, community, language. You see, so you are a candidate in a particular election, you are giving a speech to your own community members or to your own voters, and you are spreading hatred towards the other community members, and the basis of that hatred is that community members speak some different language than yours, that community members is having some different religion than yours, that community members is having some different race or caste than yours, and then you are exciting your own people against those community members, then you are spreading hate speech, a type of hate speech, and you will be liable for 3 years, maximum 3 years. And this is the very stringent provision, and the basic difference between section 125 of Representation of People Act 1951 and section 153A of IPC is that section 153A IPC is during normal conditions, if you spread hate speech, a type of speech, and section 125 deals specifically during election times. This is the basic difference between both of them. Otherwise, the wording is somewhat same. Then section 95 of CRPC, which says that the government can forfeit certain publications if they contain any matter included in section 153A IPC. So, in 153A IPC, you are spreading certain type of hate speech, and that hate speech is being circulated under section 505 of IPC. You publish it, then that publications, that pamphlets, there's newspapers, all these newspapers which contain hate speech, that can be forfeited by the government under section 95 of CRPC, because CRPC deals with the trial, it deals with the procedure of criminal law. So it can be forfeited by the government, all those pamphlets containing hate speech. Then basically under Representation of People Act, there are many more sections also. I will be dealing only with basic main sections. Part 7 is very important of Representation of People Act 1951. Part 7 basically classifies hate speech into two categories, that is corrupt practices and electoral offences. So giving hate speech, if a candidate in an election who has filed his nomination papers and he gives hate speech, he excites his voters to appeal in his favor, and the basis is that you should vote in my favor. Why? Because I belong to your own community, I belong to your own caste, I speak the same language as you speak, I am having the same cultural background as you have. So same community, same caste, so that's why you should vote me and you should not vote the other person. You should hate the other person. You should not vote. You are demanding votes from the people of your community. Just and the basis of that is you have the same community background, you have the same caste or same religion as your vote bank. So that's offense under section 123 clause 3 of Representation of People Act, and you will be held liable. So that's a type of corrupt practice. This is corrupt practice under section under part 7 of the Representation of People Act 1951. Basically, during elections, if some candidates, usually some of the candidates speak very rudely against the other community members, we have seen in news also. So the basic problem of the election commission is that as hate speech hasn't been defined up till now in any law, so in dealing with the hate speech problems, it lacks a specific law. So election commission, what it does, it uses various sections of IPC and Representation of People Act to ensure the political parties and persons do not make all these statements creating disharmony between different communities during election time. So the need is to make a law, specific law, because even election commission somewhat fails to actually curb hate speech, because there is no clear definition of hate speech up till now. Then the other main law which deals with hate speech indirectly is Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989. Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989, which prevents hate speech targeting scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. So if through your speech you are targeting the member of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, you see, then you are basically spreading hate speech and you can be held liable and under that law. Then there is Protection of Civil Rights Act 1955, which says that if anybody spreads untouchability, which is an offense, and it is also banned by the Constitution of India under the fundamental rights. So if through your speech you are spreading untouchability, then you are basically spreading hate speech and you can be held liable. And there is one more important law, that is Religious Institution Prevention of Misuse Act 1988, very important as far as hate speech is concerned. This also indirectly touches upon hate speech, though specifically it has also not defined hate speech, but I will tell you something about this. Religious Institutions Prevention of Misuse Act 1988, which says that under section 3G, that any religious institution, whether it's a Gurdwara, whether it's a masjid, whether it's a church, or whether it's a mandir or any other religious institutions, that religious institution or any manager of that religious institution, if he allow that religious institution or the premises belonging to that religious institutions for promoting disharmony or feelings of enmity, hatred and ill will between different religions or racial or language or religious groups. So basically you are a manager of Gurdwara or mandir or masjid or church, and you are allowing the premises of that institution to spread hate speech against the other community members belonging to different other community, having different religions or different caste. So that institution is used to spread hate speech against the other persons belonging to different religions. Then that manager of that institution, religious institution, can be held liable and he can be put behind bars. As far as Supreme Court is concerned, Supreme Court has a very important role as far as hate speech is concerned. Supreme Court, through its various judgments, played a crucial role in addressing hate speech, and the main landmark cases which I will be dealing is, in 2023 there was a landmark case, Shaheen Abdullah versus Union of India 2023. Shaheen Abdullah versus Union of India 2023. In this, the Supreme Court directed the state governments to suo moto register FIRs against hate speech incidents, even in the absence of any complaint against the accused. If any accused person spreads hate speech, then the Supreme Court in this case directed the state governments to suo moto register FIRs, even if no person comes forward and files an FIR, because in most of these cases the common persons are scared of filing FIR against some politician or some big person who spreads hate speech. So even without a complaint, the police stations have to register an FIR. This was given in Shaheen Abdullah versus Union of India, and all the state governments have to adhere to these directions. And in 2022 also the Supreme Court passed a similar order in a particular case in which immediate registration of FIRs against the people should be filed who trigger communal violence through their hate speeches. Then there is one very important landmark case as far as hate speech is concerned, and that is Pravasi Bhalai Sangathan versus Union of India 2014. I repeat, Pravasi Bhalai Sangathan versus Union of India 2014. In this case also, Supreme Court described hate speech as an effort to marginalize individuals based on their membership of a particular group and to delegitimize group members in the eyes of majority, reducing their social standing and acceptance within the society. In this case also, that is Pravasi Bhalai Sangathan, Supreme Court said that the implementation of existing laws will solve the problem of hate speech to a great extent, but actually Supreme Court said that the the Law Commission should try to define hate speech. It should try to address the issue in order to avoid any problems in future. So the Law Commission under its 267th report tried to define hate speech somewhat, and it recommended that the Parliament should add section 153C to IPC and section 500A to IPC, which somewhat deals with hate speech. So what are the remedies if someone spreads the hate speech? The basic remedies: proper education should be given to the people of India. People should be made aware about the consequences of hate speech. So if you are making a speech, and you should be aware of what you are speaking. You have the freedom to speak, you have the freedom of choice, whatever you want to speak to the people of India, and you are making a public statement, you are totally within your rights under Article 19 of the Constitution of India. But there are certain restrictions. You cannot create immorality through your words. You cannot make contempt of court. You can't make any defamatory statement against any person. Your speech should not be against the security of the nation. You see, so whatever or whenever you speak, make sure while speaking you don't spread hate towards the other community members and other groups. So your speech should be balanced, and you should know what are the consequences of hate speech. And the Parliament will definitely make a law, a stringent law to curb hate speech, and specifically the social media like Facebook and WhatsApp. We see many statements given by the political leaders or some influential people against the other community members. So these Facebook and WhatsApp should be very vigilant about its platforms, and they should try to delete all these messages which are spreading hate speech against the different community members, so that the secular fabric of our Indian nation is preserved. And this Indian nation is very good nation as far as democratic values are concerned. So we, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. So these are the words used in the preamble of India. We should adhere to these words, and we should make this country proud by living together. You see, एक हिंदी में कहावत है, जो गुलदस्ता होता है ना, वो अलग अलग फूलों से भरा होना चाहिए. एक ही फूल से गुलदस्ता मिला हो ना, तो वो अच्छा नहीं लगता, वो सुंदर नहीं लगता. तो गुलदस्ता भी अलग अलग फूलों से भरा हो ना, तो वो गुलदस्ता अच्छा होता है, सुंदर लगता है. हमारा भारत भी अलग अलग फूलों से भरा हुआ एक गुलदस्ता है. अलग अलग रिलीजन्स को बिलोंग करते जो लोग हैं वो इंडिया में रहते हैं. तो इट्स अ सेकुलर कंट्री, इट्स अ डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्री. वी शुड लव आवर ओन रिलीजन एंड वी शुड रिस्पेक्ट द रिलीजन्स ऑफ अदर पर्सन ऑल्सो. ये शिक्षा हमें देनी चाहिए बच्चों को. सो आई थिंक यू लाइक दिस वीडियो. थैंक यू वेरी मच.